Everybody knows that there are generally three things that don't go together: summer fragrances, good performance, and affordable. And sometimes it's even summer fragrances, expensive, and good performance. Those don't even go together either. It's just kind of a known thing that typically, a lot of the times, fresher fragrances don't perform as good as sweeter fragrances, also known as cold weather, fall and winter scents. It's very much a thing. Now, there are definitely outliers, and I've talked about them before on the channel, but today what we're going to be doing is focusing on some fragrance clones that are improving the performance of other existing, more expensive summer fragrances. Now, some of these clones and their originals already have good performance, but again, they're much more expensive, although there are a few of these that the originals don't have as good a performance, and so again, these fix that at a much lower cost. And you guys know the drill by now. You can't go out and buy clones off of retailers or in retail stores. So I will link everything down below. If you want to purchase any of these, it'll be super easy and laid out. I want to start off with Fragrance World F Y Parfum. So, I mean, you can kind of see what they're doing here. YSL Y, Fragrance World F. You know, I mean, these brands, these clone brands, they're clever, but it also really ruffles some feathers too. Realistically, I mean, how much do the big designer brands really care? You know, this is kind of like a drop in the bucket compared to the numbers that they're pushing to just the entire world with all of their fragrances and beauty products and clothing and all of that stuff. But these brands, I bet they really can get under some people's skin. Because not only are they going after the name and cloning the actual smell, but then they have the bottle presentation looking similar too. So, I mean, this one doesn't need much explanation. It's a YSL Y Parfum clone. You can also get, Lattafa Fakar, Alhambra Yeah, Eau de Parfum if you want a Y Eau de Parfum clone. Great options as well. I don't believe right now there is a clone of a Y Eau de Parfum Intense. I bet that one's in the works. I bet it's going to be coming up soon. I would love to get my hands on that if and when, most likely when it becomes available, because that would be a great option too. And just because it's a Le Parfum, that doesn't automatically mean necessarily that it's a winter scent. I mean, I think you could easily wear Y Le Parfum, F Le Parfum in the summertime. Typically, these will be a little bit more sweet, but honestly, this compared to Y Eau de Parfum and its clones, it's not a whole lot more intense. So I think it could easily be pulled off, and a lot of people do it. I wear Y Eau de Parfum and Y Le Parfum when it's hot outside quite often. But one thing's for sure is that this one has good performance. Now, in this instance here, Y Le Parfum doesn't really have bad performance. To me, in my personal experience, Y Eau de Parfum actually performs better than the Le Parfum version. But that doesn't mean that the Le Parfum performs poorly. This one is about on par with it. They're not fixing anything here except for the price point. This is $40 or less, whereas Y Le Parfum is into the 100s. And that's one thing I forgot to mention when I was starting this video out. Affordable clones, right? Typically that kind of goes hand in hand, but everything in this video for the most part should be $40 or less. Maybe there might be one or two that goes up over that a hair, but for the most part, these are really keeping it pretty obtainable. Next up, we have FOMO, a Fraghead's Asylum, Fear of Missing Out. So this is a clone of Roja Elysium. So, you know, in this instance, FOMO, you're not going to miss out on Elysium because it's not discontinued, and I don't think it ever will be. I can't see them getting rid of that. It's probably one of their best sellers, and I bet it's one that really pulls a lot of people into the brand, and then they can go down the rabbit hole from there. But one thing, you know, with Elysium that might cause you to miss out, of course, is the price. You know, I have seen a pretty big adjustment. The Parfum has worked its way down over the years, and especially I've noticed here recently, to where Parfum 50 ml, which retails for $485, the last time I checked, it might have gone up, can now be had sometimes for the upper 200s. I think I've seen it 280 and then 300 and a bit more. So every now and then it's worked its way down. Now, of course, that's still an ungodly amount of money for a 50 ml fragrance at the end of the day, but there has been a pretty big adjustment in price. But this one usually is going to be $35 or so. It's an extrait concentration. It's more so going after the Parfum Cologne smell of Elysium. It's going to be a bit brighter, a little bit more fresh. But Elysium, it's got vetiver and a lot of citrus and fruits and black currant and everything like that. Smells fantastic, especially for the warm weather. But this is very much a scent that could be worn year-round if you wanted to. If you fell in love with this and you wanted to make it your signature scent and you wanted to wear it during winter, Christmas, when there's snow on the ground and it's freezing, you could do that too. But I think this one is best suited for summertime. And in this instance, the performance is better. So that's a pretty big, selling point there. If people have had an issue with Elysium's performance in the past, this is going to really help fix that problem for you at a fraction of the cost. Next up, we have another fragrance world, and it is Feroce Pour Homme. So I kind of already pointed this out in my review video of this, but the coloration is spot on. The bottle and what is it a clone of? It's of course, and I'm talking about the color of the bottle right here. When you put it side by side to the cap of Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Forever, just about dead on. And yes, it's a clone of Light Blue Forever, and I love that because that's discontinued. Same thing with Light Blue Italian Love. They're just about the same, kind of go hand in hand, except Italian Love has more bergamot focus, but both of them are still heavily dominant as far as the grapefruit note is concerned, and same here, of course. I'm telling you guys, this is just about a dead ringer, spot-on clone to Forever, to the point where if I smelled this one blindfolded up against Light Blue Forever, I might struggle with that quite a bit. Most of the clones, I would like to think I could differentiate, and typically in videos I point out the differences between them, but this one, it might be hard. It has the exact same sour, punchy grapefruit that Forever has, and I feel like that would be kind of a hard accord or hard blend or note to really get this exact. But I'm telling you, it's absolutely mind-blowing. It's almost just unfair. Although not really, because again, Light Blue Forever, it's no longer. This one's coming in at, again, under 40 bucks. Has about the same, if not maybe slightly better performance than Forever, which is really solid performance too. And it's just one that is perfect for the high heat. Now this next one, I think I've seen it for as low as $15 or $20. This one just absolutely tanked in price. I don't know where it's at right now. Again, sometimes I throw these numbers out there. I keep track of everything and I notice the low points, so sometimes you'll see something pop up for a really low price, but then it kind of goes back up a little bit. Again, I've seen this one for as low as 15. It might be more like 20 or 25 now, right? So I apologize, but it has dropped in price quite a bit before. It's Lattafa Hayati. Gosh, I always struggle with that one. Hayati. We're just going to go for something along those lines. It's got apple, bergamot, and cinnamon, along with quite a bit of musk as well. The way I describe this one is it adds a slight cinnamon sweet kick onto the Invictus Aqua DNA or Rosace House DNA. I wouldn't say that this is a straight up clone of Invictus Aqua or Rosace House or whatever, because there are a few differences, mostly being that slight cinnamon sweet kick, but definitely takes some pretty heavy inspiration there. And I do like it for that reason. Now, it's, again, cheaper than those that I just mentioned, and it does show. So the quality on this one is not going to be nearly as good as Invictus Aqua, Rosace House, Montblanc Legend Spirit, and a lot of the other Invictus Aqua smelling things. However, what I have noticed is for the price, the performance on this one is just next level. Because again, I've already listed off the price point. It's pretty much dirt cheap, and it performs so much better than you would expect it to. So yes, it lacks in some areas for sure, but if you're on a really strict budget and you just want a beast mode summer scent, this is gonna work. You can't be picky about the quality and everything, but man, does it perform. Next up, we have Armaf Tres Nuits Lyric. So you guys know the original is a clone of Green Irish Tweed. This one smells nothing like Green Irish Tweed. In fact, it kind of smells pretty similar to Acqua di Gio Profondo. There's a few Profondo lookalikes or smell-alikes on the market. A pretty notable one is Azzaro Chrome Extreme. It's going to be, I don't know, probably a touch more expensive than this, $45 or so, which I've talked about it many times. It's a fantastic one. This is going to come in just at a little bit of a lower cost and just really maintains that performance. One thing I'll say too, when you smell it, there's a bit of Profondo, but there's also a bit of Acqua di Gio EDP style as well, more of an aromatic touch. Some may even compare this to the OG Acqua di Gio Essenza, which maybe you were around to experience that one, maybe not. It got discontinued pretty early on, but it was a really good aromatic forward version of Acqua di Gio. This has a little bit of that too. And to be fair, to me, Acqua di Gio Eau de Parfum is kind of like a modern Acqua di Gio Essenza. There's differences, but it's mainly an aromatic approach. So this kind of just mixes a few of those together. It's affordable, it has great performance, it's good for a bright, sunny summer day. Armaf Très Nuit Lyric. Next up, we have Lattafa Mahir Legacy. I've talked about this one a ton of times, and you guys know all about it by now, but it's a Parfums de Marly Sedley clone, which I love Sedley. I would say Sedley and Greenlee are two of my favorite fresh Parfums de Marlys. Not really a fan of Percival, to be honest with you. I mean, it's fine. I have it, of course. I've talked about it before. But I think Sedley has a lot more to offer. And I think Greenlee has quite a bit more to bring to the table as well. Now, there's a clone of Greenlee, and there's also, of course, to my knowledge, at least this one, as far as Sedley is concerned, and there might be some other clones out there, but this is kind of the main one that I've known and heard about, and it's so good and so close that I don't really have much of a desire to seek out any of the other ones, you know, because it's not like this is $60 or something and there's more room for a lower price. It's, I think, anywhere from like $35 to $37, maybe sometimes even a bit less. So maybe you could be on the hunt to find another clone that's $25, but for me, it's kind of like, I'm good with this, because why would I go out and spend another $20 on a Sedley clone if I already have one, you know? So just a kind of price hunt. So depending on what you want to do, but I think this one just really offers a lot of bang for your buck. And the Sedley DNA itself is phenomenal for high heat. It has a minty, geranium, kind of green, clean freshness to it and a nice citrusy opening. It smells fantastic. Let's roll into Armaf Club de Nuit Sillage. So this one is very, very similar to Creed Silver Mountain Water. And I guess you could say, to some extent anyway, that Silver Mountain Water is more of a polarizing release from Creed, mainly because of the quote-unquote inky note that it gives off. Ink, like, I don't know, I guess ink pen. I'm not really sure what exactly people are describing that as or what it smells like, but when you smell this and when you smell Silver Mountain Water, there is a notable sweet, unique texture, and I guess that would be the inky note. Again, this has been going around forever. I'm not making this up, right? It's a very common phenomenon when it comes to Silver Mountain Water. But there is something that is different about it in a unique way that stands out that I personally love. It's interesting because you always hear, release something unique, you know, designer brands, niche brands, release something different. And then they do, and then all of a sudden people don't like that either. So really it's kind of a lose-lose. But in this instance here, it is more of a unique summer scent, using a lot of green tea, a lot of musk in here especially, and kind of an ambroxan as well, which is very common across pretty much all of the Creeds. They use a heavy load of ambergris, ambroxan, whatever. And so that's kind of what makes this one up. But it does have kind of a cooling and refreshing smell, mostly coming from that green tea in here, which I really like. And it just, again, is something to stand out. Silver Mountain Water is very expensive, and for the price to performance ratio, it's pretty poor. So this one here coming in at, you know, a fraction of the cost, let's say $40 or so, $45 maybe for this one, performs better than the Creed, and it's cheaper. Jean Lo Immortal by Alhambra, and I believe they changed it to Immortel, at least according to Fragrance By, which is where you can get this one. This one's got bergamot, grapefruit, rosemary, some ambroxan. You know, it kind of smells just like a classy, high-end, sophisticated summer scent, mostly coming from that citrus and ambroxan mixture, which just smells absolutely amazing. Talk about a premium, high-end smelling scent. It smells like Louis Vuitton L'Immensité, and I've seen people compare it to Bulgari Tiger slash Afnan, Tarathi Blue. Not so much. There's maybe a little bit of a similarity, and I would probably be coming from the bergamot amber situation going on here, but there's more to it than that. So maybe bits and pieces that could kind of tie back to Bulgari Tiger, Afnan, Tarathi Blue, but not as much. And to be fair, Afnan Tarathi Blue is incredible on its own and could easily have a placement in this video because it has great performance just like this one. I don't think this video would be complete without a Creed Aventus clone, and we're not done yet, by the way, but this one felt like it had to be in here. L'Aventure Intense by Al Haramain. So one of the strongest out there as far as affordable ones. Now, Parfum's vintage, I love them. They have some great clones, and they are expensive, and they wouldn't make it in this video because they're not affordable. They have some strong performers, but talking about the more affordable clones, as far as performance goes, I would say L'Aventure Intense and Armaf Club de Nuit Man Limited Edition Parfum are two of the best performing straight up Aventus clones. Now, there's something like Afnan Supremacy Not Only Intense, which is kind of Aventus and Nishane Hasavat hybrid. It's much sweeter. Great performance as well, but there's some variation. So this one, it really works well. Super strong. It's got that birchy, pineapple-y Aventus smell down to a T. And then, of course, great performance to back it up. And I think Aventus is best worn in summertime. It is my favorite time of year to wear it. It's fruity, it comes to life, and it smells amazing. Aventus has always had good performance on me. Now, for a lot of people, it's still going to be overpriced and might not live up to your expectations. But this one is not overpriced, and it probably will live up to your expectations in terms of performance and quality and accuracy. Now, this next one is one of my favorite clone pickups of this year. I absolutely love it. I'm so happy that it exists. It is Pandora Scents Amorist. Oh my gosh. The memories that this brings back. The reason why is because it is a Bulgari Aqua Amara clone. And I got Aqua Amara when I was first getting started, and it was just at the absolute peak of the hype train. Everybody remembers it. The strength of the ocean, right? And I still have Aqua Amara. But given the fact that it's discontinued and has been for so long, and I don't really have a ton of it, usually I'm kind of apprehensive to wear it, and it's completely stupid because I do have enough, but not enough. You know, I do, but I don't have enough is kind of how my brain processes that. But the fact that there is a clone, it makes me feel so much better. And it has that orange, seaweed, musky, just powerhouse, oceanic, aquatic smell right off the rip, and it maintains that through into the dry down. Now, Aqua Amara was a little bit of a polarizing one when it was just at the peak because it's different and it's not your traditional summer scent. So by default, this one's going to fall in that same boat as well. Not everybody's going to like this. Kind of like Terre d'Hermès, how it has that kind of earthy orange. This has some of that going on too, so be warned. But it's an affordable one, and if you want something that smells like Aqua Amara for a fraction of the price that has great performance, this is it. Only got a couple left to go. We have Amber Oud Exclusive Emerald, and it is not what you think. You see that nice green bottle? Well, this is a clone of Creed Erolfa, which comes in a bottle that has some blue accenting. So, interesting touch, but Erolfa to me is a very underutilized Creed, and I understand, yeah, there's 3 Creed clones in this video. Creed, you know, while they aren't what they used to be, they have put out some amazing summer scents over the years. Luckily, there's an abundance of clones for all of them. And so Erolfa is one that just is not in demand at all. And to my knowledge, this is about one of the only clones out there, aside from maybe a few indie ones and stuff that maybe doesn't smell similar. But this gets you really close with the melon, the sea notes, kind of the salt, just all of the musk and citrus going on. Just very, very vacation, premium, sailing on a boat type of smell. We're going to finish this one with a summer gourmand. It is Alhambra Bright Peach. Of course, cloning Tom Ford Bitter Peach. This one's got blood orange, peach, patchouli, and a cognac sweet boozy accord. So like I said, guys, maybe not the best choice for summer daytime, you know, but summer evening, you want something a little bit more seductive and sweet, gourmand, good for a date night, a dinner out. This is it. I feel like I have to make this point every time, but most places you go, you're probably inside where there's air conditioning. So if it's 70 degrees or 68, I mean, this works. It's plain and simple. it might warm up a little bit. You might start to feel it push more if you're walking from your car into the building because it's hotter outside, but then it just settles back down. There are so many more uses for these fragrances. It doesn't have to be strictly sweet, goes with winter. I mean, sometimes you can work something like this into a summertime. But yeah, bitter peach, it's just like most Tom Ford private blends, very expensive. This one, it's not. Alrighty guys, there you have it. Some fragrance clones that are perfect for summer. They also have great performance and they're affordable. I mean, it just checks off all the boxes. Love it or hate it as far as clones are concerned, because it's definitely one that people butt heads on. They really open things up to people who are on more of a budget, and not only that, but making improvements to things that maybe don't have as good a performance, and then they offer it at a lower cost. I'll link all these down below. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.